welcome to Creating Magic Podcast. I'm Danny.
And I'm Paula, and today we are joined by Jane, Orlando's romance-only bookstore owner.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Good. It's been a really long week, and I feel like it's going to keep getting longer. I keep saying that we're entering like our Super Bowl era of Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that the chaos was over after the holidays, but it's only just beginning. So maybe in March I'll get some sleep, but it's okay.
Maybe in March. And you've been open since
December 7th. Yeah. So we had our grand opening December 7th weekend, but we were doing soft openings since mid-November, and building out the dream. I keep saying like for 10 years because it's always been a dream, but like actually putting it into action since January of last year. So
yeah. We've been following you for a while since you're, like the first videos where you were like,
hi, my name is Jane Rodriguez, and I'm opening the name is Romance Only Bookstore. Yep. I've become known for that a little bit, which is so
I know
funny
it's
to me.
Sometimes when you start a video and you don't say it, everybody's like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, it was weird.
Who are you?
Exactly. But it was great because that was like my hook, right? Like that's how I got people to listen to what I was saying, and I think that has been the thing that has helped to like grow our audience as much as we've been able to on social media, because people were like, wait a minute, romance only bookstore, like let me keep hearing what this girl's got to say. So, and now I'm just like known for it. It's funny because if I'm at an event and I'm like talking, and even at like grand opening weekend, I threw a party for my team and I had to give a speech to like thank everyone that has helped. And I was like, well, we got to do the thing. And I was like, hi, my name is Jane Rodriguez and I'm opening Orlando's Romance Only Bookstore. And like that has just been like the thing. And it's just so funny. I'm gonna get, I think, a sticker at this point.
You should. That should be like the little sticker. I would 100% put that on my Kindle.
Right?
Yeah, you need to get
it.
Yep.
I don't know how humble that is. That feels a little narcissistic.
It's a sticker. It's not like
it's a sticker. Yes.
You're not like plastering it anywhere. It's a sticker. I think you're safe. So where did the dream start? Because you said this has been a 10-year dream.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So, I mean, I feel like all of us readers have a dream of opening up a bookstore, right? Like, yes. I think it's just something that lives inside of us because what's better than being surrounded by the things that we love? So ever since I've been a reader, and I've always exclusively been a romance reader, like I have tried to read anything else, and it feels like my own personal form of torture to read any other genre. So I was never about any other genre. So always had a dream of having a bookstore. I think the like being surrounded by books brings me so much calm, like to my soul. Like I would always go to like Barnes and Nobles or to like other indie bookstores on the days that I was like really stressed out, just to be like around books. And I have so much love for them. Like I sometimes will hug my bookshelf if I could.
I mean, your store is adorable, so
I haven't made it down yet, but it's coming up.
Yeah, you have to come visit. So like I've always had the dream for the bookstore, and then the Ripped Bodice, they opened the first romance only bookstore in 2016 in California. And when I found out that they existed, I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me that I can open a bookstore and it can just be romance and it can be successful? And I was like, say less. So then after that, I was like, the dream shifted a little bit, which like, okay, I always wanted to open a bookstore, but now it can just be a romance only bookstore and have it be filled with things that I love. Because I think that one of the things that would have prevented me from opening a regular bookstore is I know nothing about any other genre. So the idea of having to sell like a nonfiction book sounds not fun. So I was like, I can talk about romance every single day of my life. Like this is so easy and it comes so naturally, having a store that's filled with the books that I love to read. So it was a long time coming and it finally happened. And it's still surreal. I still can't believe it, honestly. There's still days I walk in and I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't my life.
Yeah, I went with my cousin probably like, I would say the third weekend in December. And there was like a market happening that day.
Mellow Market.
Yeah. So when we went in, I was like, oh my God, there's so many people.
Yeah,
There
it's
was a
been
lot of people in
nonstop.
there.
Hmm.
And your team, they're so friendly and so kind,
Yeah,
like just
that makes
very
me happy. Yeah.
accommodating and like, hey, is there
Mhm.
anything you need help with? Like just they were the best.
Yeah, I will shout it from any like every rooftop in the world. I somehow found such an incredible team. I have a team of 11, 12 people right now. Because I have 5 booksellers and I have 5 event staff. And then I have an events coordinator who is phenomenal. And then I have someone else who helps me with like the administrative stuff. And then I have a couple other people that like help and volunteer their time.
Mhm.
Every single one of those people are incredible human beings. They love the New Romantics just as much as I do. And you can tell like they care so much, and it's so hard to find that. And on top of that, they are so extremely competent, which you like, it's also hard to find. But I keep saying that I can leave tomorrow for a year and the store will be fine because they're all so good at what they do. I trust them wholeheartedly. They're so kind, so compassionate, so a million things. And honestly, I don't think that the store would be as a fraction of as successful it has been if it hasn't been for like the amazing team, like working behind the scenes to like make things happen. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to attract so many incredible people to help make something really special here.
It also speaks to the community you've already built.
Mhm.
Like we saw the videos from opening day.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh my God, that
A
line of
line on the
people was
block.
like,
Yep. Mhm. Yep. I was not expecting that at all. We had over 1,900 people come out that
that
day.
is
Wait,
wow.
hold on. I actually have this
I know
is
you had the little
I
counter. I remember
refused,
you in your
yeah.
little pink outfit and the counter.
I refused to let anyone touch this after grand opening day. So, grand opening day, we had 935 people come out. So, I think
Wow.
it
We
was
need to get
1,600
you like a
between
little
Saturday and
shadow
Sunday.
box.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
why I'm
could put it
there.
in.
I
Yeah.
haven't had time to put it in said shadow box, but I was like, you touch this and you're fired. This is like a prized possession to me because it's
Yeah.
like it's so significant to that day and to
It
all so
is.
many beautiful people that came out to support us. So I have it like on my little I have it on my desk so I can keep
I
looking
love
at it.
that.
And I have there's the other one for Sunday somewhere around here. That one I guess it's not as important because I can't find it, but opening day was really great.
That one was okay to touch. You didn't
Yeah,
threaten
yeah,
anybody's
yeah.
job.
So, but like you don't just have a bookstore. You've created events, you have book clubs. One of the things
Yeah.
I caught earlier that when you initially posted it is you're also doing an audiobook walking club.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I've
So
been following that because it's like they're going to be in the parks. I'm like, well, I'll come down to the theme park.
yeah. So community has always been at the forefront of everything that we do, right? That has been such a big value of mine forever. And I think that like being a Latina has to do a lot with it because we're just so community oriented and centered and everything is for la comunidad, you know? So that was at the forefront of everything we did. So we wanted to, and it's how we started too, like we started doing pop-up events in our community, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the community, if it wasn't for all of the people that have followed us on Instagram, who came to our pop-up events, who sold out our events. And we're like excited to continue to pay that forward, and continue to do like really fun things that people can come out and do. So we have so many different events. We have the audiobook walking club, that I think for now we might just keep it to like Orlando parks, and revisit the parks, like the theme park side come fall, because we're probably spreading ourselves a little bit too thin
Yeah,
now.
you're like, and
Um,
that's why I was like shocked. I'm like, they're doing a lot.
yeah, we're doing a lot. And in addition to like all the things that we're doing in the community, we're doing a lot of things with authors too. We have at least four in-store book signings a month on the weekends. We have book release parties that are coming up, author chats that are coming up. We have an event with T.O. Williams, which is absolutely insane. We're so excited for that. So there's so many things that are happening on that side, but then there's also the events that we're doing, like the markets. Like we just launched another initiative called For the Dreamers Market, which is basically a market space where we can host markets where other small businesses can come out and like vend. And we're hoping to attach a lot of different aspects to that. Because prior to me opening a bookstore, I was a business owner. Like I've been an entrepreneur for the last 5 years, where I have been helping people start businesses for 5 years. So I know a lot about like the operations side, administrative side, like the nitty gritty of like the LLCs, your EINs, all those things. So I want to get back into that a little bit and apply it to the Orlando community. So if there are women out here who want to open their own businesses, I want to support them in doing that. And we'll probably do it through that initiative called For the Dreamers, because that's like our tagline. It's for the dreamers and romance readers, is what we always say. And it's like on our website and everything. And it's on our literally our window. Um, so those are things that we want to do. And then there's like the fun things. Like we have a series of events called Cozy Crafting, where we did like the vision board bingo and holiday book ornaments. And we have like a cookie decorating class coming in February and a whole bunch of different things. So we're doing a lot. And I love every single second of it. But we got invited to MegaCon this year, which is
Saw that.
huge.
That's awesome.
They reached out to us and a couple of other local businesses, another like bookstores, which is so exciting because they want to have more of a book component to MegaCon. And I'm like, about time. Like, what
Yeah.
is this? When I went last year, I was like, y'all are missing books. Like I love like all of those things. So we're so incredibly excited to be a part of that this year and hope to be able to continue doing that next
And
year
that's something
and
that
grow
conventions should do more of. We
100%.
went to a tattoo convention. We've done it 2 years now. And last year they had a bookstore. They had two bookstores because they had the corner and then the big bookstore. And we were all like, books.
Books,
Yeah.
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 Like, yes.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm so excited for that and for like all the opportunities that are coming our way because we do have such an amazing community and audience of people supporting us. So it's really, really cool to see. Right. And there's so many awesome things happening where we are. So that's like another thing that we hit the jackpot with where our store is located.
Mhm.
And when I was looking for a space for the bookstore, I was very adamant about where I want it to be and the vibe of it, right? Like I kept saying that the best example I can give you is that I didn't want my bookstore to be next to like a Publix and like a little strip
Right.
mall.
Valid.
Like I wanted to be surrounded by other small businesses, and we have done exactly that. And it's so cool because like Audubon Park is the most supportive small business community that I've ever seen. We have like an amazing board that puts events like community-wide events, which is really cool. We're surrounded by sweet treats, which as like a sweet treat girly, I'm like here for it. I'm like the second I have more time and energy, I want to launch a whole sweet treat campaign where if people go to like Kelly's and get ice cream or like Gideon's and get a cookie or salty donut across the street and get a donut, that like we'll give them like 10% off their order or something like that and just like celebrate the sweet treats because we're surrounded by them. And I'm like, I have a sweet tooth. So I was like, this is the
I love it.
I love that like when you were thinking of a bookstore, you had the like vibe of the type of area. I know Paula's a new reader. So within the last year, she's very new. So I don't know if she's ever thought about the owning bookstore dream.
No.
it'll hit.
Now I consider maybe living in one, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
could like run one.
Yeah. I think it's like the coffee shop, like the cute little coffee shop bookstore dream where it's like it feels like you get to slow down in life a little bit.
Yeah.
But as a bookstore owner, I can tell you.
Yeah, mine wasn't a coffee bookstore. I really would love, like, if I had the ability, and I even know the spot I would choose, I would want to do like a wine bar bookstore and do like book and wine pairings.
Yeah. I actually have a dream of being able to expand the store and having like a secret lounge that you would access via a bookshelf. And
that's very cool.
that lounge
Book
would
speakeasy.
and it would go into like a wine bar where we would like serve like mocktails because I don't drink alcohol, but like mocktails and charcuterie boards.
I'm all
And
for
just, like,
charcuterie.
Charcuterie boards
little
are
snacks.
yes.
I
you know,
say a wine book
small
bar.
business.
I don't drink wine. I would need to hire
I was
out.
gonna say, really?
I think the
The
vibes
vibe.
would be
The vibe.
right.
Yeah.
'Cause
100%.
I'm like, that's what you want to calm down, you want to
Yeah.
have a glass, you want to read a book, you want to meet up with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason I read is for the vibes. I'm not
100%.
reading for,
Yeah.
I'm here for the vibes.
So
Yes.
what do you read, Paula?
Oh, um, well, I'm reading an Allie Hazelwood book now. I'm
Ooh,
reading
which one?
The Love Hypothesis, and it
Hypothesis?
is so freaking cute.
It's so good. That's probably my favorite Allie Hazelwood book.
Yeah.
But honestly, she's an auto-buy author for me. So every single book, I will read her grocery list if she sends
This is
it to
your
me. Like
second
I'll
one,
read
right?
anything.
The second Allie Hazelwood you've read, Paula?
Yeah, I read Not in Love
Okay.
last week, which a friend of mine who's like obsessed with Allie Hazelwood was like, that one to start with that is a little
Yeah.
like,
That's
but I
yeah.
liked it. It
Yeah.
was, I'm not one for like big spice, but I like it if it's well placed.
Yeah.
And it was well placed. So I was like, oh, this is not, it wasn't like, it was a
Yeah.
little bit
It was
spicy.
it is the spiciest of her books
Yeah.
for sure. And she said as much. But I'm really excited for February because she's releasing her like sports
Deep,
romance, which
is
is
it
Deep
the
End,
deep end? Yeah.
aka Wet. That's what it's supposed to be called. It's like an inside joke in the publishing industry because she originally wanted to call it Wet, but they wouldn't let her. Like
Ah,
WHET.
okay.
So we call it Wet around here, but it's Deep End. Yeah.
I keep getting the ad on my Kindle for
Right, but
for
Paula's gonna
the
start going to midnight releases.
Yeah.
I know
It's gonna
I'm going
be it's
yeah.
actually our sports romance book club for February. So
Okay.
if you read
Okay.
it and you want to come and chat about it,
She'll
I
read it.
might. I'll read it.
She's gonna need a palate cleanser. Our online books club is going into Crescent City after Onyx Storm,
Yeah.
oh,
so she's
wait,
gonna need
but
a
have you
little.
read, hold on, have you read like Akatar and Throne of
I
Glass?
read
Okay,
Akatar was
okay, good.
what started
That's
this
it.
reading
That's
thing.
exactly it.
It took
That,
me 3 months to finish that first book, but after that, I was like
yep,
flying through them.
yep. That I will say, so I am a huge romantasy girly. That's my favorite subgenre of romance. ACOTAR changed the game for so many readers, because it's so good that I think that people have just been continuously chasing the high that they felt
Yeah.
when they read ACOTAR. And the only other two romantasy, well, I would say three romantasy series that have made me feel that way is Fourth Wing, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, if you all haven't read that one, and Quicksilver. I think Quicksilver is going to be the next like fourth wing.
Okay.
Because it's,
We actually talked about Quicksilver earlier this week because they announced the date for the second. So we
yep,
were like, we think we're gonna hold off on using it for our book club until right before the second comes out to
yeah,
do it right in an order. Because Paula read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame for the first time last week.
Yeah,
yeah.
I read
We're
them.
throwing her
I,
in.
I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
liked Fourth Wing took me a while to get into it. And then I had a friend that was like, "Listen, just get to the dragons. Once you get to the dragons, you're good." And he was correct.
Yeah.
Once I got, but the second book, I don't know. The first half of the book, I loved it.
Yeah,
I was like,
that
oh,
to me, Iron Flame felt like two different books. And so like the halves felt different from one another. So in my mind, they're like almost two different books because it
And
was
we
just
talked
such a
about that because she
it was a
gave different
freaking roller
ratings.
coaster.
She had a
Yeah.
rating for part one and a rating for part two.
yeah.
Mhm.
I gave part one a 5 and
Mhm.
part two a 2. So I
That
know.
was a
I wouldn't say it
three.
was
I gave the
that
whole book a
low.
3. I
Oh,
know. It's my harshest rating ever, okay?
it is.
I am not harsh. I'm very nice because I can't write a book. So I feel bad. But what
I
happened to
feel
me
that too.
was I was expecting, without spoilers, the end to be like this. I don't know. I expected to be like, because I kept seeing like the hype, right? So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this end is probably gonna like,
It is. What do you mean?
it
That's
did not,
crazy.
it
What?
didn't do it.
What? That is
Here's the
she
thing. It
she
didn't
did the
feel
craziest thing that she could do without literally murdering someone.
so here's the
Crazy.
thing. I think it's because it didn't emotionally impact me, and I think that's look at her. She's like,
Oh.
it didn't. It didn't. I And maybe it's because
Which is crazy because Paula is an emotional person.
That blows my mind. I don't think you understand the gravity of what happens at the end of Iron Flame.
No, I
Like-
understand what happened, right? But I was everybody was talking about this cliffhanger, right? So I was like, okay, so I'm waiting. I don't know. I was expecting it to be like, to me, it would have been better if it would have been like she looked at him and she couldn't believe what she saw. And then it ended. But they told me what they saw. And I was like, well.
But like to leave it like that.
Paula doesn't understand about waiting a year until a book comes out.
Exactly. That's the other thing.
Waiting a week.
You're right.
Maybe
You're right.
that's what
She's
it is.
waiting a week.
Yeah, we read this last year.
And
Yeah.
part of me wonders if your response to Iron Flame is weighed upon the fact that we just finished going through Throne of Glass.
It could be two. Yeah, I just finished. I just read Kingdom of Ash. I read Fourth Wing right after Kingdom of Ash. Like, I didn't even wait a day in between. I was like, I'm going in.
Kingdom of Ash fucked me up.
Girl, I thought I was going to die.
I was like, why does Sarah J. Maas hate her audience? Like, why is she putting us through this emotional pain? But I also have feelings about Kingdom of Ash because I didn't like that as an end of a series.
No?
I was very unsatisfied with how she ended that series.
See, then we can be understanding.
Yeah, I feel like Aelin should have had a lot more, like, gratification at the end of Kingdom of Ash, and I felt like she was kind of put on the back burner. And considering that she's the main character, it blew my mind that she did that. You know? Like, the person that ended up, like, beating the bad guy, I was like, really? We went through all of these books for this person to be the hero at the end of the day and not the actual hero that we've been rooting for.
Well, at the beginning, I was like, she's not a good assassin. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Here's Paula's hot takes.
This title
is not a good assassin. Feyre can't paint.
Oh my god. The only thing I won't allow is anybody speaking ill of Rhysand. Never.
Oh, absolutely not.
He is forever and ever. Somebody was like, "Oh, what do you think about Xaden?" I was like, "He's a little young for me. You know, he's not 500 years old."
I'd be curious to see. I'd be curious to see what you think of From Blood and Ash in that series.
We've been recommended it a lot.
Yeah.
We're just trying to be careful about overcommitting we use Fable for an online book club, and we don't want to overcommit a large series.
Yeah. Well,
because it took us a year to get through all of Sarah J. Maas, and we still haven't done Crescent City.
Yeah, with From Blood and Ash, it's definitely tricky because she did like the original series and then the prequel series.
Yeah,
and I like the prequel series sometimes more than the original series. But they're like hefty books, but they're so good. Like the first two books in the series are probably some of my favorite books of all time because they're just so good.
All right.
interesting.
Yeah. So once you get to there, like no rush. You know, there's so much content for you to get through.
There is. I bought a Chelsea Curdle book at your store. I bought Camera Chemistry. I haven't read it yet. But I was like, oh, and it was signed. It was like in the local author section. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm like supporting too. I haven't bought a book. And that was my first book that I bought in a year. Because I only read on my Kindle. So it's mostly like Libby or if somebody gifts me like an ebook or whatever. Well, so it was my first book purchase.
Me is that I'm not a physical book reader and I own a bookstore.
Audio?
I'm an audiobook girl. Through and through. Yeah. And sometimes I'll like tandem read with like the ebook version.
That's what Paula does.
I do audio and ebook at the same time.
But I need to have the physical book for my shelf. If I loved it, it's my trophy.
You just need a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like
I'm trophyless.
You know?
My shelf trophies are loved. A little too much.
But see, I mean, I was like, give me all the physical book girlies because y'all are making my business successful.
Yeah.
Question for you, because we've had this conversation a lot. Are you a rereader?
I am. I've reread Fourth Wing 3 times. And so I read Iron Flame twice now because I wanted to reread prior to Onyx Storm coming out. I've read ACOTAR 3 times, I think. Normally, like I'll probably reread Quicksilver before book 2 comes out. So I normally only reread romanticises in preparation for
Yeah.
Like a
the
release.
next
Yeah,
series.
that's kind of
'Cause I was
why we
like,
were planning the first Quicksilver to be
Yeah.
cut up against, because then everyone can
Yeah.
just like go immediately to the
Mhm.
second.
Yeah. Because then, like, it's funny to me when people are like, oh, like, how do you not remember what book you read? And I'm like, what you don't understand is between the last time I read Iron Flame till today, I read 100 books.
Yeah.
So details are going to be foggy. So I rather like do a reread, and like I love it. I loved being able to go back into like the best
I do a reread before
worlds
any
and
new
stuff
book
like
comes
that.
out in a series.
Yeah.
I haven't
And I've done
really
that since I was a
reread
kid.
anything.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I have A Court of Mist and Fury on
Mhm.
constant, like, I check it out on
It's her
Libby, and when it
radio.
expires, I check. It's my radio. I work with it on all the time. But I think the question that Danny was trying to get to was, when you reread something, do
Yeah.
you count it towards your
Yeah.
reads?
Of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
It was a question
Yeah.
that came up.
We had a friend
like,
ask us this. I'm like, yeah,
I don't
Yeah, like,
count
I read
A
it.
Court of Mist and Fury because honestly, I'm not like,
it's background noise at times.
right. It's background noise. Now, when
No, if
Sarah
I'm
J. Maas
purposely
decides
choosing to
give
read
us,
this,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
100%.
counts.
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
she decides to release that next book and I reread, then I would count them because I'm rereading for that
Yeah.
purpose. I think it's not background noise.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to do a full reread for a new book coming out.
Yeah. I need, because I've recently done like all the way through just Frost and Starlight. So I did
Mhm.
like those four. I haven't done a reread of Silver Flames. But I definitely would do a reread of Silver Flames for the
I was about to
next
be like,
Black
that's like my
book.
favorite one.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I've just been like, there's just so many things to
There
read.
is. I'm
And
a
I think,
Nesta girly is the
oh,
thing.
I love Nesta. I don't like when people are like, I'm like, let her grow.
Well, I think at the beginning, when you first get Nesta,
yeah,
it's not a pretty
No,
picture.
and like I get that, but when
it's
you've read them all and you're
justifiable,
like,
too, you know, like she's a
I mean,
bitch
there's
for a
people
reason,
who,
you know?
after they read Silver Flames, they're still like, and I was like,
Yeah.
that I don't understand because you're obviously like
Well, I
getting
will
down and
say,
dirty.
the thing that I don't understand about Silver Flames, and I never will, is her 10,000 step journey, where baby girl goes down like 8,000 steps. And I was like, I'm tired. And instead of going down 2,000
2000.
steps, goes back up 8,000, knowing that going upstairs is harder.
Maybe it's not for Faye. Maybe it's not.
Let's go with that, because that is the one thing about Silver Flames that I just do not understand.
Yeah, I was also like, oh, you're almost there. Like,
keep going.
I've had friends being like, we should try the 10,000 step challenge. I'm like, have you all
No.
got on a stepper?
Absolutely not. No. If I get to 100, I'm like dying, let alone 10,000.
30 seconds and I'm done. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
you're like,
Yeah.
What other books are you like really excited for this year?
So I am a really big Julie Soto fan. So she is mainly a contemporary writer, but she's releasing her romantasy book, which is actually based off of Hermione fan fiction,
ooh.
called Rose in Chains this June, July. I am so insanely excited for that, just because her contemporary books were my favorite books of 2024.
A
They're
lot of
so
Hermione
freaking good.
friends.
Yes, yeah, and I've dabbled into the rabbit hole of Hermione. You know, I've read Manigold. Like I know the classics. So I'm very, very excited for that one. And then I'm also excited for Quicksilver 2, which I am upset in the sense that, so Quicksilver was originally like an independently published book,
Indie, yeah.
and it got picked up by Forever Publishing House. And baby girl was ready to release book 2 this past October. So book 2 is out there in the world. It exists. It has been written, and they're making us wait a whole year for it. And I'm not happy about it. So I'm trying to beg our publisher for an arc for it, to see if I can read it. And like, it's very, very, very difficult for me to read physical books because I have ADHD up the ass, and I cannot focus enough to sit and read a book. So I need to like audiobook it. So like, if I need to go send an email, I can still be listening to, and I won't like stop what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah.
But I will be sat
Yeah, I'm like, if you're getting an
for
arc,
that
you're
book. Yeah.
getting.
I was like, I will
have to-
sit down and make time. I was like, I'll schedule my booksellers. I'm not coming into the work to the bookstore until I finish this book
I'm
because of
off
how
until further
badly,
notice.
basically, until I like finish that book, and I want that so bad. So those are my two, I would say, romanticities that I'm really excited about, and I'm so excited to see what else comes up. I think that I'm always like on that hunt for the high that I felt reading ACOTAR, and like getting books that make me feel that way, like Quicksilver. Like I'm so excited for what that next book is. But I also do read a lot of contemporary, so I'm really excited for Can't Get Enough by Kennedy O'Brien. She is phenomenal. I'm excited for the new Emily Henry book because that's gonna hit no matter what because it's Emily Henry. Abby Jimenez. There's just so many cool things, but I'm also excited to see what are the new authors that I get to meet in 2025. Because like in 2024, I met Julie Soto and Jessica Joyce, and I love them now. So I'm excited to see who are going to be my new favorites come 2025.
Nice.
Yeah.
So excited for you. I love
How about you
watching
all?
like all your content and just seeing what's happening. And like I've shared it with friends. So my job is based out of Oklahoma. And
Okay.
when your store was opening, I shared. We have a little. We found who the romance girlies at work are, and I sent it to one of the managers, and she's like, "I need one of these here." And this past week, she messaged me. She's like, "I found one like the store in Orlando."
Oh my God. Wait, which one? Do you know what it's called?
I'll have to look it up. She sent me the name.
'Cause, yeah, romance bookstores are popping up, and I
They
love
are.
to see it. I was like, yes, romance girlies take over. That's how it should
I love
be.
to see like small businesses popping up,
Yeah.
like that's like it's so awesome.
And
And the vibe
thriving.
inside your store is so good.
Yay.
It's so good.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yay.
pop in with a bunch of girlies.
Yeah, for
Yay, I
ladies who
can't
lunch.
wait.
We're gonna be
Yeah,
ladies who read.
We'll
I
be
need
ladies
to
who read and snack. We'll
I
go.
love
We'll just
that.
go down the path.
Literally. But I need to up my social media game because I've just been it's been so crazy that I haven't had time to like make any
Make
of my
content.
videos.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I keep talking about it with people and like TikTok being banned and stuff like that, that a
Mhm.
lot of the people that come into our store are like, we found you on TikTok. And I'm like, I'm very scared to see what the impact of TikTok getting banned ends up being.
Um, but I keep like saying that I'm like negotiating with the universe where I'll be like, please, if you don't ban TikTok, I promise I'll post more consistently and I promise I'll make all these videos.
You're like, please don't take this from me. That's the thing that's crazy with this ban is like you're hurting so many small businesses.
Businesses. So many. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
crazy.
And like wild to me that they don't see that impact and like it's gonna have like really large economic impacts. Like I get all the things that I buy are off TikTok. It's because I saw it on TikTok. Like I am fully influenced on
By
TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
So
I
it's
keep
not
thinking like, where's my mom gonna shop?
yeah, and
My
it's not
mom,
even small businesses, like all of these corporations are on TikTok just as much as we are.
yeah.
They're building their brands and their presence and their identities on TikTok. So it blows my mind that all of these massive corporations that like have skin in the game on TikTok didn't lobby for it to
Yeah,
not get banned. It's fishy to me.
wild.
Yeah. I was like,
What are you most excited for the store?
I think definitely the events side of things. Since we're all so deep in the romance, we like fangirl so hard over authors. And I've always said that authors are my celebrities, right? Like with the exception of like Taylor Swift, obviously I would die if Taylor Swift walked into the store. But getting to meet these authors of books that we've been reading for so long and like today we were having conversations with one of our publisher reps and they were like talking about like books that were coming out and I feel like this is not a professional response that I should be having, but I'm also so freaking excited for like this book or for
Yeah.
the potential for that author to come to town and meet with us and do an event with us and just meeting them in person because they're the people I fangirl about. Like I don't care about the Kardashians. Like I care about freaking Abby Jimenez and Kennedy Ryan,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's something.
I've traveled for some authors.
Yeah.
I got back from a convention, I think it was a year ago, and the next day I drove to Winter Garden for a book signing.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm excited to like be able to build those relationships with authors too, and honestly support them in any way that we can. Where a lot of what we do is to celebrate authors, right? And to like lift you up. And in any, if there's any way that we can do that with both traditionally and indie like authors alike, we're here for it. So I'm really excited to see all the different events. I actually have like on one of our goals for 2025 is to host 50 different authors this year.
Wow, nice.
And we got a lot. Like, let me look at my calendar now because for
Do you have like a little meter?
yeah, I should, right?
Yes.
For January alone, we have had we have and we're gonna have events with 1, 2, 3, 4. That technically we have an event where it's a panel of 4 and 4, so that can technically count as 8. So that's 12.
Oh, it's doable. You're done already.
14, 15 in January.
You're quarter of the way there.
You're exactly
Quarter of the way.
You're
Yeah,
in.
and February and March is just as busy.
Not slowing down.
Yeah.
Well, February is going to be crazy because it's a romance bookstore.
So you get Valentine's, but then you get Galentine's.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, I think Galentine's is going to be bigger at your store than Valentine's.
Yeah, it is. So February is insane. I'm low-key terrified. Not gonna lie, because we have our event with Tia Williams, which is like the biggest author that we've worked with so far. Then we have MegaCon. So Tia Williams is February 4th. MegaCon is February 6th through the 9th. Galentine's, we're doing a whole market. It's the 13th. Then we're doing an event on the 14th for Valentine's Day. We're doing another event on the 16th for Galentine's. It's like a books and brunch event. We have in-store signings, audiobook walking clubs. We have book release parties. We have 4 different book clubs that we host. We have other markets that we attend, stuff like that. And then in like March, we have 3 book release parties in 1 week.
Oof.
Yeah. I also
they're not all midnight release.
I struggle with saying no, but like I'm just so excited for it all. I'm like, we can do it.
Yeah.
This is a problem for future Jane.
You're Orlando's romance only bookstore, so you have to say
I
yes.
gotta show up. Yeah, exactly.
Gotta do it. Like looking.
Are they all? They're not like all midnight release type thing.
No. Book release parties, they happen the day of release.
Okay.
So it'll be like a 7 p.m. event. We'll only probably have like midnight release parties for like the really big events. Like obviously Onyx Storm. I think I'm gonna do a midnight release party for Quicksilver Book 2.
I feel like based on what you think of it and how much you love it, you're gonna do it just for you. And you're like, we're doing this. This is for me.
It's for me.
If you show up, great.
For sure. We might do a book release party for Emily Henry potentially.
Okay.
Just that's so huge in the romance world. But like, so with Onyx Storm, we're doing a midnight release party, but we're going all out. Like we got a 3rd venue. We have vendors. We're doing a whole little market. We're having a trivia night. We're actually having a podcast group come in and do a live podcast episode. So we're doing all out for that one. The only other book that I would ever do something like that for is another ACOTAR book. So, yeah.
We missed the boat on Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't read them yet when you guys posted everything. And she's like, are we going? I'm like, you haven't read the books.
See, we should have just gotten the ticket.
For book 4, we'll probably do it too. So
yeah.
We'll be
now I'm ready. I'll be ready. Don't worry. I'm still gonna read the 3rd book. Okay. I went and I bought it. So
now I wish that you would have read it earlier so that the ending of Iron Flame could have had more of an impact on you. Because now you're like, okay, I read Iron Flame, but now you get a solution in 2 weeks versus a year.
And I did say that.
I want Paula to wait a year for a book.
Yeah.
I did say.
Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna let you read Onyx Storm until next January. How does that ending to Iron Flame now? How does that feel now? Now that you're not getting.
I always use this like my How I Met Your Mother theory is like there's a lot of people who loved how it ended. Yeah. I am one who didn't, but I watched it as it played out, right? So I had to wait a long time to get that ending. But people who have binge watched it are like, oh my God. And I feel like the emotional impact is different. And I said that when I finished, I said, maybe it's because
a great example.
I know that
In a week,
in
you'll have resolution.
5 days, I'll
Yeah.
have the book, so I'll
Yeah.
know. So
Exactly.
maybe that's what changed it. So I don't know. It's my first like getting a book like when it's released type thing where I won't have to avoid spoilers for
Yeah.
years. Where
I
I'm
love
like,
your reader journey. This is beautiful. This is great.
It's been fun to follow because the first few years of the podcast, whenever I would bring up books, the response from Paula would be, I'm not a reader.
I'm not a reader.
You are now, baby girl.
I am now.
You are now.
She on our last I've told the story to multiple people. On our last podcast that we had recorded, Paula had 2 days until she hit 1 year reading streak on her Kindle. And she informed us that if she died, we had to get her Kindle and read so she would not lose that
For
year.
those two, if I died before the 365 days, I was like, your only instructions, yes, mourn me if you want. You get my Kindle and somebody make sure, I don't care what's on here, read it, okay? For those, you need to get me to a year.
I love you. You know what? A reader would do that. So there you
So
are.
I was like,
You
I
officially
could just
have the
imagine them showing up
identity
at my
of a
door.
reader.
Hey, Hansel, we're really sorry for your loss. Can we get Paula's Kindle, please?
Yes.
She gave us instructions. We have video proof.
We had one job.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so great.
Oh, but now I still have the streak going because like it's still I was like, oh, maybe after a year I'll just kind of like let it go. But
Rise.
it's literally like it's like every day I'm like every once in a while I'll get close to midnight and I'll be like, oh my God. But it doesn't happen too often because I try to get it out of the way in the morning.
I love that though. That's so great.
My Kindle streak means everything to me.
I feel that, especially when it's gone so hard. You can't let it go now. You can't abandon it when it needs you most.
Well, Jane, why don't you tell us where we can find the New Romantics on the socials, the website, so that people can visit you, check you out, and see everything that's going on?
Yeah, so we're currently most active on Instagram and Threads. So you can find us at the New Romantics Books on both of those. Hopefully, we'll still be on TikTok also under the same username. But we also have a website, which is also the newromanticsbooks.com. And you can shop books on there. We're hoping to be able to add like all of our sticker and bookmarks merch up there too within the next couple of weeks. So those are kind of the main places where you can see us. Definitely Instagram. I am wild when it comes to posting Instagram stories. So if you want to be like the first to know things, looking at our Instagram stories is definitely the way to go. Yeah.
No.
Mm.
And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was such a fun chat.
And until next time,
Keep
keep
creating.
creating.
Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled.